So there is a richness of feminine imagery. There really, really is, but we tend to miss it and not experience it. I'm really interested by a little snippet of conversation between Moses and God in Exodus 6:23, if you want a reference. And in that little snippet, God says to Moses, I was known as El Shaddai, and now I'm revealing myself to you as Yahweh. Well, Yahweh is utterly beyond gender. And I think in this conversation, there is that holding intention of the fact that God, on the one hand, is absolutely definitely beyond gender. So going back to my boat analogy, the sea on which we sail, that huge, expansive, we do not understand, incomprehensible, transcendent God is evidently beyond gender. But God is also immanent, intimate, and comes to us in images which are really concrete. You know, God became incarnate and walked with us. And so those names like El Shaddai and God who is compassionate, those are intimate. So that was really interesting to me, because what that suggests is that the Jews, they knew God as feminine first, if you take that piece of conversation seriously.
That's interesting.
And then God is revealed as Yahweh, beyond gender. So Hagar calls God the God who sees. Well, the tendency is, if all of our default of God tends to be masculine, the tendency is to see that as a masculine, fatherly God who sees. But you could also see it as a feminine God who sees. Or the Lord is my shepherd. Well, there were female shepherds in the Bible, so that's not necessarily masculine either. So I began to explore and began to see that there is a real wealth of feminine imagery for God within the Bible.